welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we're doing a get ready with me with some new makeup and then throwing in some things that I've had for a little bit of time. We've got new Chanel, we've got new Victoria Beckham, and if you're interested in seeing that, just stay tuned. Hey everybody, as I said in my intro, we're going to be using some Chanel today, some Victoria Beckham. I've got Tom Ford, Gucci, Bobbi Brown, and Juvia's Place. Just kind of throwing in a whole bunch of different things. But we haven't done, or I haven't done, a kind of get ready with me format in a while. There's been so many new releases. So many new releases. And some of this is new. I do have, a lot of things that I've just recently purchased that I want to revisit. And we're going to do a little bit of that today. But there's also just new items because I'm still getting through all of the new things that came out in the last couple weeks. And there's more because holiday is right around the corner. When this goes up, it's right before Labor Day weekend. So I'm sure there's going to be sales and things going on for Labor Day. And then after Labor Day, it pretty much goes into holiday. That's just how it works. There's, Halloween related releases. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And Halloween is, it's a very well celebrated holiday here in New England. Lots of fall related stuff in general in New England. It's, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's, it's the best time of year in New England with all the leaves changing, and it's the best weather we have. And in my opinion, it's very pretty. So there's a lot of fall stuff, but also just, let's face it, it kind of, once you hit Labor Day, it's just like full speed into every holiday collection. So, or at least it seems that way. So I will start having holiday stuff. I have mentioned in a couple of previous posts, I already have some holiday for Charlotte Tilbury, Tom Ford, Yves Saint Laurent, Chanel, and I will start having videos for those very, very soon. I tend not to do them way ahead of time because one, again, they're holiday and they should come, I feel like they should come later. But also, you can't purchase any of these things. Like they don't even, they're not available in the US, but they're not available anywhere else either. I don't want to get too far ahead of that. Like the Shade and Illuminate blushes from Tom Ford, which I am going to use today. These are now finally available in boutiques and they've been available in some Nordstrom's. They should be online by the time this video goes up. So hopefully, I think I did my video, wow, like a month ago? Could have been 2 months ago now. It's just all blending. Anyway, so I'm gonna use one of those today. I don't have all of the blushes. I have 3 of them. I will likely pick up all 6 because I really like the formula. I think it's very good, and I really like the blushes. They are a high price point, $90 for 2 shades. That is a lot. So, but anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. So the first thing we're going to do today, I have nothing on my face. My brows are penciled in. That is it. By the time this video goes up, I'll have about a week before I'm getting my brows microbladed. So you guys will see that. You'll see how they look on camera. I'll try to do a little bit of vlogging, not a ton, but like a little bit of, me going in and taking a couple pictures and then what it looks like afterwards, and I'll do all of that. But I will do videos when my brows are still, newly done, and I'm sure it's going to look a little over the top for a while because that's generally what happens. So you guys will see the intenseness of my brows pretty soon. So I don't have anything on my skin at the moment. There's nothing down. What I'm going to do is use a little bit of my Guerlain watery oil because I always use, well, I should say always. I often use this. So I think it's, safe to use and it shouldn't throw off the look or the results too much because this is just something I always use. So this is how it would look on me with other foundations that I use. So I feel like the Guerlain watery oil is just kind of a first step that I do most of the time. So, I don't think it drastically changes the foundation that we're going to use today, but I do think it gives me a little bit of extra like plumpness and moisture to my skin that might not be there just by using the foundation itself. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to go out and purchase this foundation. For somebody who has drier skin like myself, I do feel like some type of moisturizing primer is a good idea. You might not want it, depending on the type of skin you have. So the first thing we're going to use is the color corrector. This is Invert, and this is not a product that I've ever used before. I'm just going to dab it on my face. I generally don't use color correctors of any kind. And I think it's partially because I don't usually have time. That's a big part of it. And also because I feel like, you know, I have some redness to my skin. Okay. Like, it doesn't really bother me. I'm just kind of like, all right. But I do recognize that I have redness to my skin. And I also recognize that there may be a lot of you out there who have redness or acne prone skin or, you know, a number of other things that you would like a color corrector for, and that I should show you how it works and what I think of this one. And again, it's not that I don't recognize that I have redness to my skin. I absolutely do. It's just that it's just not generally a priority for me to really get rid of all of it. I do though do like lasers and things to try to diminish the redness. I just haven't done that lately because of, frankly, because of COVID. I just haven't gone in to do those types of treatments. It's not like I like the redness. I don't do like makeup to get rid of it. Now, what I've really done is kind of patted it in to the skin. So I put on, you know, a very little amount of it. I sort of dabbed it on my skin and then just sort of pressed it in to sort of create what's what I'm looking for like a color correcting base almost. Now the redness that I have is primarily through here and here, a little bit through my T-zone, and then a little bit on my chin. It is all rosacea related. It's, you know, blood vessels, broken blood vessels, rosacea. I never have really had acne, so I don't have acne scars. I don't really have breakouts. The last couple of months I have had more breakouts, but compared to somebody who really suffers from, you know, hormonal acne or any type of acne, I realize that I don't really have that. So, you know, I get 1 or 2 blemishes and I'm like, oh, that's the most that ever really happens. So I'll be using this when I use this primarily for the redness as it relates to rosacea. So I wanted to see how that would work. And I do think it absolutely does neutralize the redness that I have. The broken capillaries that are the worst, I have right on this side of my face. I don't have as many on this side of my face right now. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I will eventually get laser treatments again. I'll go back to doing laser treatments, and hopefully that will, you know, get rid of them entirely. But in the meantime, we're going to try this. So I picked up the Ultra Latent. It's the Ultra Wear All Day Comfort Flawless Finish Foundation from Chanel. Now, the thing about Chanel foundations, you can tell what type of foundation it is by the cap. If you look at this cap, I think you can see this is a matte cap, right? So the finish on this is a matte-like finish, and I don't generally wear that. I like a dewy finish. I do not like mattes. I feel like it makes my more mature, dry skin look more mature, more dry. So I don't like it in general. But I saw Eyeliner from Amarch Beauty use it. Now, Eyeliner has much different skin than I do. She has more of an oily base skin. I have more dry skin. She's a lot younger than me. Eileen's probably like 15 years younger than me. So it's not that I immediately was like, oh, well, we're twins as it relates to skincare. I should get this. What I did notice though was that the formulation, and this supposedly has been reformulated and there's more shades. And from the demo that she did, it does look like it's reformulated. The old formula was much thicker and this is much thinner. Now, I have been trying this for a week, maybe a little longer. And I have to say, I actually do, spoiler alert, I do like it. It works really well. It stays on, like it says, all day. I don't have to touch it up. And because it has more of this matte-like finish, I find that it actually looks better on me as the day goes on. Because in the beginning, it does look like a little dry. Not terribly dry, but it looks a little dry. But then throughout the day, my skin does have more oil, like I said, lately. And so it actually looks better. It's really interesting. I'm going to use a sponge because, like I said, my skin is a little irritated. So I find that this works very well for me. And I have to be honest, I would not have reached for it or tried it if it hadn't been for Eileen's video and how it looked when she did the comparison between the old formula and the new formula. I had used the old formula, or tried it, I should say, a couple years back, because I always like to try, like even if something is matte, I'll try things out, because I do believe that unless it says something like, this is only for oily skin, do not use this. I always feel like, well, you should try it out on your skin before you make a decision about something. Don't just assume that someone else is telling you what works for you. You should try it yourself and see what you think. And it was far too dry. It was far too dry. And when I say dry, I just mean that it was like, it kind of got cakey on my skin. So, yeah, it did not work. I was like, no, foundation's not for me. And then, never really thought about it again. So when it was reformulated and I saw it on Eileen, I admit I was hesitant to try it because I was like, well, I've already tried that. But you could see a discernible difference in the way that it was on her hand, and the way that it was on her face looked the same, but I could tell by the way she moved it around her face that it had more viscosity than the old formula. So I was like, all right, let's try it out. So when I first put it on my skin, I do kind of get this, I feel like it looks, I think it looks really good. Like it creates a really good finish, but there isn't dewiness. There's no there's no glossiness, there's no dewiness. The skin looks a little flat through here. But like I said, as the day goes on, I do have some oil in my skin now. I have no idea why. And so as the oil breaks throughout the day, the foundation actually looks better and better, and it lasts all day without any problems. The picture I put on Instagram, which I didn't have any makeup on other than that foundation and a little bit of eye makeup, was 8 hours in. And it looked, I'm not going to say flawless because, but it looked really good. Like it created an amazing canvas, and there were really very few imperfections that you could see in my skin, which I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive. So I'm going to bring you in close so you can see how well the green corrector plus this foundation covered up the redness without making it look cakey. So we are very close to my face right now. But I think you can see what a good job it did. It's not, settling into lines. It doesn't accentuate texture. It doesn't suddenly make me look 25, but it does get rid of what I would say, it balances out my skin tone. So there's no patchiness, there's no redness. It really does make everything look very even, which is impressive. Now, generally, I don't really go for that. Usually I have more of the, I want my skin to peek through kind of thing. But there are times that I do want this. There are times that I do want my skin to look, you know, I want it to be more made up. I want more of that coverage, and it would be for like certain business reasons and stuff. So I am really impressed by this. And like I said, the picture I posted was 8 hours in, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. So that's how it looks very close. So now that we're this close to my face, I also picked up the Longwear Concealer. Now I have it in B10. There are lots of new shades for this. And I'll be honest, I don't remember if this was the new shade or one of the new shades or not. It's light. I mean, it's a very light shade. I generally don't wear concealer under my eyes. I wear a little bit sometimes. Usually what I do is like use a brightener or something if I feel like I'm having, you know, bad eye days. And I've said before, it's not because I don't think it can help, because I do. It's one, because my eyes, under eyes especially, are very dry. That hasn't changed much. That's still dry. So it always looks cakey to me. That's the one thing. And then the other thing is, again, it's a timing thing. A lot has changed. A lot has changed with the last 2 years, because before that, I was traveling a lot. I had long commutes, those types of things. And so the extra steps of doing the green corrector and the concealer were things that like for me, I was like, do I get another 10 minutes of sleep or do I do those things? And for me, it's always been, I'd rather have the sleep. So I didn't do all the steps that many people do, like on their makeup. Now, yeah, I'm still incredibly busy, but I'm not traveling and I don't have a commute. So I may take more time to use concealer and corrector and those types of things. The thing is, though, I'm still on camera most of the time. I'm really not in person anywhere. And on camera, you know, yes, it does look phenomenal, but even just a healthy glow with your skin shining through with a little bit of infection still looks good, because the camera doesn't necessarily pick it all up. When you're in person, you do. So you can get away with a lot more on camera. And I think, you know, you all know that, like when you see these people do these videos, even if they're not using filters, even if they're not changing the image, I've got professional lighting. You've got, you know, angles, those types of things that help, that when you saw the person in person, I think could look harsher than it does on camera. So I have to say, this looks really good in natural light, which is why the picture I posted on IG was in natural light, no filters. I was direct on my face, and I thought it was important to see that, because when you have drier skin and you pick up a matte foundation, it might look okay on camera, but then when the sun hits it, it looks not great. This did not do that. It really did look good, and I'll reference the picture. I'll put the picture above as I'm talking about this. You might not have seen the one on Instagram. So I know I've kind of gone on about it for a while, but I have to say, like, it is the thing that has surprised me most so far this year. And there have been other things that have really surprised me, but this is the number one. So far anyway, I had no intention of buying this ever, and I'm really impressed by it. So that being said, we can move on to the next to the next product. Now I'll give you more in-depth reviews of the concealer and the corrector as I use them more often, because I want to use them with other types of foundation and other products. Also, I will be picking up the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Concealer. It, again, like the blushes, is available in some stores, but not online yet. And once I have those, I'll do some comparisons for all of you. So 2 other things to note about the foundation. I do not need a powder with it. That I will say. Although, like I said, it's not drying on my skin, and it's not, and it doesn't leave my skin, you know, cakey or anything, I do not need a powder. There's no reason to powder this, which is nice, because lately, actually, some of my more dewy foundations, I have needed a powder, because like I said, my skin has become, I very much doubt it would be considered combination. I think people would still, like if I went to an esthetician and asked, I think they would still say dry, but it is so much less dry than it was before that I guess you'd probably just say it's on the drier side of average. That's probably where I'm at. So that was the Gucci bronzer. This is in 01, still one of my favorite bronzers. I bought this, when did I buy this? Last May? A little over a year ago. I still haven't made much of a dent in it. I mean, if you look at it, you know, there's still a lot there. I mean, I'm like looking at, I mean, there's, you know, there's like an indentation, but the smell's gone though. The scent is gone. But other than that, I still haven't used up that much of it, but it's still one of my favorite foundations, favorite bronzers. So now we're going to use the Ulla Johnson Bobbi Brown highlighter. I've been enjoying this highlighter lately. Of course, it's new to my collection, and I think it's very pretty. This is in Pink Glow. It has a pink glow to it. You know, it's a nice light highlighter, and when I'm looking for something that's cooler, I think it works really, really well. Do I think it's like, is it to me the same as the foundation where I'm just like, I'm so shocked and amazed? And no, but you know, I like it. And I think it's really good. So it is something I'd pick up. I'd pick up. I do have other Bobbi Brown highlighters, so it's not a huge shock that I like the formula, because I've liked Rosy Glow, which is the other one that I have. Okay, so blush. I'm going to use today my favorite blush of the Shade and Illuminate, which is the Brazen Rose, which is the 01. And again, by the time this video goes up, these should be available online. But here's the thing. I've said that like 3 times now, and none of that has been true, because first they were supposed to be available in June, then it was July, then it was August, and now we're basically September. So I'm going to just run these 2 together. It's a really, really pretty blush. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've talked about it. I will link my video that I did whenever it was, 2 months ago, and you know, talked about how much I like the blush. The formula is really good. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was supply chain related. Don't know. But all I can say is the blushes are excellent. I have 3 of the 6 shades. Lexi Zhang has 2 shades that I don't have on her channel that she just did a video on. And she seemed to really like them as well. So I'll make sure that that's up. And, you know, I get it. We all have too much blush right now. But I do really like the formula. Now, I know I've said in the past I'm going to do a really simple eye look, and I end up not doing a simple eye look. But today I'm going to do a simple eye look, because I'm going to use one of the new shades of Victoria Beckham eyeliner. This is in the navy. I think it's called navy. I want to make sure. Yes, it is actually called navy. Navy Noir. And I'm going to use that, and that's the primary new piece of makeup. But also, I'm going to use Juvia's Place. This is the Rebel Grays, and I'm just going to use a couple shades. I'm just going to use a couple shades from this palette. If you haven't used Juvia's Place before, they are very pigmented, really beautiful shadows. They're stunning. And I would strongly encourage picking up any number of their palettes. They're all good, all the ones I've ever tried. So we're going to use a little bit of that. And then I have one of the new shades of the Posh lipstick. I bought this one in Spark, I think. Yeah, Spark. I also already have 5 different shades, so I will show you the difference between Spark and the ones that I already own. So let's use a Wayne Goss number 16. And like I said, I really am going to do a really simple look. I'm going to use this light gray here, and then I'm going to use the light gray like sparkle, and then I'm just going to use the blue eyeliner. So I'm just going to keep it very basic. We'll put this as like the transition slash all over the eye, and then we'll use the navy to smoke out the look. Yeah, the Juvia's Place eyeshadows remind me a lot of Sydney Grace, actually. Very similar pigment. They're very smooth. The mattes are great. The shimmers are great. They have great color stories. They have, you know, bigger palettes. These little quads are excellent. I really like them. I think if you're looking for just like an all gray look, or you're looking for, you know, I have the green, of course, an all green look, I think these are like a great choice. And the price point is very reasonable. And so that's the, like just the light gray shade. And I'm actually gonna dip into the deeper gray and just deepen that up just a little bit. Not a lot, but I'm just going back over it into the crease. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to my microblading, but I'm also a little nervous. Not for the result. The place I'm going, and I will, you know, link where I get them done and all that, but not that they won't do a good job. I know they'll do a good job. I'm, I guess, a little more worried about the pain. I mean, I know it's not like, you know, anything major. It's just, you know, I don't really want to, I don't really want to deal with the pain of the microblading, but once it's done, I should have, you know, 2 years of fairly free brow like maintenance, so it's gonna be worth it. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself, that it's gonna be worth it. I mean, I have friends and family who've done it, and they all have said yes, it's totally worth it. So it's not that, it's just, you know, it's just like, pain. Okay, so I'm going back in with the Wayne Goss 03 and just buffing that all over the eye. Use my Kyoto brush, and let's go into the silver shade. I'm using the cooler shimmery one since we're going to be using the navy blue. I think it'll be a good match. Remi, of course, is crying in the background. I don't know why he cries all the time. Well, I mean, it's usually for food, but I mean, it's not like he's hungry. Like, he just got fed not that long ago. Plus, you know, he's not exactly like svelte. He, you know, he's doing fine. I don't know why he's always hungry. All right, so that is the finished look, and I will show you before I put the navy on. But I think you can see, like, it's, you know, it's just a beautiful palette, and it's very pigmented, goes on super smooth, blends super easy, not a lot of fallout at all. Just, you know, really nice. So let me show you the new navy shade, and I will also show you the ash shade. Both really beautiful. These liners are probably the softest liners I have. They literally glide on. This is the ash. This is the navy. Ash, navy. And there is, on one end, the liner. And they're called Satin Kajal liners. And on the other end, you've got the smudger. So you literally take it, let's see if I can do this on camera, and smudge it out. And you can see how easily it lets you do that. So I would say if you're looking for something that's like super smooth, super easy to use, this would be a great choice. The liners stay on once they're set down. This one's starting to set, the navy is starting to set, because I put that on a little bit forward. But you can see, like, you can definitely still smudge it. And you get a really smudgy, really pretty look. So we'll use the blue on the top lash line, and I'll use the ash on the bottom so you can kind of see the difference between the two shades, because the blue, the navy, has a little bit of gray in it, and the ash really looks like ash, like it's a gray, like almost charcoaly gray. You can see how smoothly these go on as well. The only thing I would say is you want to do a light hand, and if you don't want a lot of liner. If you want a thicker line or more liner, then don't worry about it. But if you don't, go in with a very light hand, because it goes on so smoothly that you'll find you put down far more than you wanted to. Like, I'm barely touching my eyelid. Like, seriously, barely touching it. Just like, it's so smooth. You just press it down, and like, you don't have to press. You just lightly touch your eyelid with it, or your hand, or whatever else, and you know, you're gonna get shade. So I'm gonna take the buffer, buff it out a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. It's really easy to create a super smoky look, because like I said, if you put it down like you normally would with a liner, you're gonna get a lot more pigment, and then you can get a super smoky look because you just buff it out. It's really pretty. I mean, and super easy to use. Just be cognizant, like I said, of the fact that it's so smooth, it goes down so beautifully that you can make a thick line really easy, which is great. But if you're looking for something a little lighter or a little bit more subdued, and you press, you're gonna get far more than you think. So let's do the gray, let's do the ash. And again, I'm just barely touching my lower lashes here. Just like barely touch them. Because I'm not looking for, you know, a super thick line. And then I'll go in with the smudger. Yeah, can you see how like easily that's smudged out? Super fast. Okay, so let me put on a little bit of mascara, and then we'll get to lips. So mascara is on. I think you can see that the liner, the navy and the ash are, you know, strong liners, because you saw the look before the liner and mascara. The shades in the Rebel Grays palette are really, really pretty. It's a beautiful palette. The greens are really nice as well. I really like that. So anyway, the liners are really smooth. I've said it a million times. They go on like this and they smudge out beautifully. Really, really like the liners in any shade that you want to pick up, but navy is the new one. Okay, so onto the Posh lipstick in Spark. This is one of, I think it was 4 new shades. And I will show you Spark. Not Spark. All right, now the other shades that I already own, so you can see in comparison which ones you like. We have Spice, which is more of I'd say it's like a peachy brown. I really like Spice, one of my favorites. Then we have Girl. Which has a little bit more pink to it. Then we have Fringe. This is a much deeper shade. And it's definitely a chocolate brown. It's got a little bit of pink undertone though, so it doesn't like completely wash me out, which is nice. Then we have Pose. Which I think you'd say is like more of a rosewood tone. And last but not least, Play. Which has more of that like burgundy kind of shade to it. So those are the shades that I have. I probably wear Spice, I'd say, most of the time. Pose I wear a lot. Fringe I wear in the winter more. This shade I don't wear as often because I don't really do, you know, a cranberry, like, it's a really pretty shade. I just don't wear it as often. But the new shade, I think you can see, has more of like a peachy tone to it, a rosy peachy tone, which I did not have as part of any of these. So let me show you how it looks on the lips. I would say that this formula is really, really good. I really like the feel of these. They remind me a little bit of the Gucci, what are they called? They're like Love and Care. I always get the name wrong. It's like Love and Care or something like that. Anyway, they are similar to the Gucci's in shape. The Gucci's are a little bit thicker. Let's see if I can get it to focus. A little bit thicker in the case. But when you pull out the lipstick itself, you can see that the size of the lipsticks are about the same. And this size works really well for me in regards to like just swiping it on my lips. It works really well because it's about the width of my lip. So it's really easy to do. I can just say like, okay, and I'm done. You know, I don't have to really worry about it, and it just fits perfectly. They are very comfortable to wear. The shades, like I showed you, are really pretty. This is the new one, Spark. If you're looking for more like a rosy peach, that's the way to go. They're not long wearing. They're, you know, glossier lips. They're not as glossy as the Gucci's, but they definitely have a gloss to them. I'd say they're a satin lip. But, you know, I'm not a matte lip person. Like, I don't really like matte lipsticks. The only exception I've had to that lately have been the Suku ones, and they're not really matte either. They're different. They're a different type of formula, but I prefer sort of a satiny, glossy kind of look. So I love the Posh lipsticks. I think they're great. Obviously, I have 6 shades now, so I'm a big fan. And I really do like the new Spark. I think it's definitely different than all the shades that I previously owned. So final thoughts. The Chanel Ultra Latent, whatever. You can see I've been doing my makeup now for approximately, let's look at time, about an hour. And because I, in between, had to go take Remi out and stuff. But the foundation looks really good. It just, you know, it settles really well. And it doesn't look cakey on my skin. Does it look like I have foundation on? Yes. Like, you can tell there's foundation on. If you saw me in person, you'd be like, oh, she has foundation on. But it doesn't look like, oh, she has too much foundation on or cakey foundation on. It just looks like really smooth, really good foundation. And what you can't tell is it masking something or not? Or does she just have really seamless skin, which I don't. So seriously, really, really good. Now, the only thing I'd say is if you have extremely dry skin, which is what I used to have and may go back to having in the winter, we will see, and I'll try this out in the winter months, this may be too matte for you. My skin is now edging more towards normal. I don't think it's normal, but I still think it's dry. But and it's definitely mature. I mean, I'm not aging backwards. I'm still getting older. So I think it's good for mature skin. I think it's good for anybody who has, you know, even on the drier side, but not extremely dry. I think it'll be really interesting to try this in like, say, December, January timeframe, when it's very dry in New England and my skin is extremely dry, and see what happens. If it still works then I'll just be like, this is my favorite foundation. So far, this is my favorite full coverage foundation because I don't think I have another full coverage foundation. I don't think I do, because every time I tried a full coverage foundation, it looked terrible because my skin was too dry and it got cracky and cakey and terrible. So this is the only full, what I would consider full coverage. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, guys, I really am stunned at how well it's working. It's not a dewy finish, which I tend to prefer, again, but it creates a just really seamless look. The green concealer is really impressive for covering up the redness on my face. Or corrector, I should say. The concealer I really like so far. It's a good concealer. It's not getting into lines. It's not looking weird. So I really like that so far. I have it again in B10, I believe. Let me just make sure. Yep, B10. And if you take nothing else away from this video, I really would strongly recommend trying the Ultra Latent if you're looking for more of a full coverage look. Really amazing job. I don't know what else to say. Juvia's Place eyeshadows. I really like these eyeshadows. I've liked their formula for a very long time. I like the little quads. They're easy to travel with. I think they look beautiful. The Satin Kajal liners from Victoria Beckham are my favorites when you're looking for a easy to smoke out, really seamless, easy to use liner. The Chanel liners are my favorite liners, but those liners, yes, you can smudge those out too, but those are more like, you make a really fine line with those or a thicker line, and I smudge them a little bit, but often I just leave them. These, in my opinion, you can use them for that, but I tend to use them when I want to smudge out a look because they're so smooth and they're so like, they almost feel wet that you can just so easily like make an eye look. Like you can use it as eyeshadow. They're really great liners. I don't know what else to say. It's a different kind of formula though than the Chanel's. The Tom Ford blushes, I'm not gonna bet on whether or not they're available online by the time this video goes up because I've said it like 3 times now and they weren't. So, but I'm gonna hope they are because I've been told September, and like I said, they are in boutiques and they are in Nordstrom stores. So I don't see why they would be online by the time this goes up. So my fingers are crossed. The Bobbi Brown Ulla Johnson highlighter. If you're looking for a cool highlighter, I really think this one's very, very pretty. So good choice. And the Posh lipstick, I really like the spark color. I think it's really nice. I think it's a good rosy shade, but it has like a little bit of peach to it, which I like. And they're, these lipsticks I think are just really great, easy to use lipsticks. I will post if there are Labor Day sales or incentives that I use. I generally don't post like a lot of sale information on my page or my Instagram, not because I don't want to tell you about sales, but because usually because of my schedule, I don't usually have time, to be very honest. And by the time I recognize that there is a big sale going on or something, you've already seen it from like 10 million people. So I'm like, okay, everybody's seen it. I do post ones though that I'm going to take advantage of, like the Nordstrom sale, for example, was a huge sale. Obviously, I posted a lot of stuff about that. Bergdorf's when they have their sales. Neiman's, I try to do stuff about Nordstrom. Nordstrom recently had, and they might still have it, I don't know how long it was going on, a price match of like 15% off a bunch of things. And the NARS, the NARS Climax eyeshadow palette, which by the way is amazing, was on sale for 15% off, which I don't know. I mean, it's an amazing palette. You should get it. Don't go, you should get it. And it was 15% off, so I posted about that. So I just want to say, like, it's not that I don't want to post sale information. If I see it and it's, you know, I have time to post it, I absolutely will. But it's difficult for me to find the time sometimes. But I assume there will be some Labor Day sales. And then as we start getting into September, October, November, of course, there will be a Sephora sale again. There will be other sales that are going on. And then, of course, holiday releases. So I will be posting them as I see them. And again, I will start posting more holiday products that I have in the coming months. I think that's all I wanted to say so far. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.